Welcome back, everybody. It is Men Cry in the Car podcast. As you know, I'm Lynn Meyer, your host, and I am bringing it back again one time. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe, share, like all the things. But guess what? So last time we had an interview, I had the pleasure of interviewing one of my brothers from another mother. We're doing it again. How should I describe this man? First of all, he is a very dear friend of mine. He is a brother from another mother. He is my fraternity brother. But he's just one of those people, like when you meet that person and you know that that's a light that you always needed in your life, that's how I would describe Ray. Orlando Ray Mitchell. I want him to come on and I want him just to talk about everything that we need to talk about. But I will say this. This may be a trigger warning, you guys, because the title of this episode, you better get ready for it. So if you need your water, you need your Kleenex, bring it on. I'm going to bring on my brother, Orlando Ray Mitchell. Let's bring him to the stage. Hey, Ray.
Hey, how's everybody?
Yay. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely, Lynn, absolutely.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
for
for
the
being here.
invitation.
Yeah. I just want to say, I'm going to turn myself down a little bit. Um, I just wanted to say, when I started Men Cry in the Car, I didn't know who would be a part. I didn't know who would support. I had ideas for sure, but I just didn't know who it would be. I am honored every single time y'all come on, especially those that are near dear to me. I mean, we've been friends since 1992, and when you guys say yes, I ain't gonna cry. When you guys say yes, it means so much to me because I know you love me and I love you, and the fact that you're here, knowing that this is going to be a vulnerable, transparent time, and the fact that you trust me, I just words are not enough for me. So I just wanted to tell you that. So thank you so much.
No, thank you, Lynn, for this platform. I'm a stalker, so I've been following and listening, and I'm so proud of this young lady that at 18, we're not 18 anymore. So we are good and grown, and I'm just so proud of you, and thank you for the platform. This is a very important platform that I think you started something. So I'm just blessed to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I really do. First of all, what I didn't mention, y'all, Ray and I used to be like dance buddies. Anytime the doors open to the Trent Club, Club Trent. Inside joke, y'all. But definitely, anytime some music was playing, Ray and I will be on the dance floor. Like, don't bring it's time for the percolator. Like, don't bring that on. But anyway, okay. I want you to tell the people actually who you are, and then we'll get into the title. Let us know.
Ooh. So I'm Orlando Ray Mitchell, affectionately Ray. For those who know me, family and friends that really know me, Ray. That's what I go by. Proud of the name. Good old country boy. Of course, Lynn has already said we went to school together, graduate, proud alum, Livingstone College. Um, yeah, I'm an educator. I'm a developer. I'm a lover of all HBCUs. Um, yeah, just a humble servant. Just here doing what I need to do for those I need to do it for. Is that all you needed from me, Lynn? Because I mean, I can talk about myself, but
I'm saying I love how honest you are. Um, and then also I love how humble you were trying to be. Excuse me, sir. People need to know just like how fabulous you are. And I will start with this. Um, being a graduate of Livingstone College, of course, and then going to Winston-Salem State. Let's shout out Winston-Salem because HBCUs. Okay, I don't care who it is. It's like HBCUs, but definitely being the director of student and engagement. Did I say it right?
student activities and engagement.
And student activities and engagement. The fact that you went from graduating at HBCU going to have a career, I would say, at another HBCU lets me know the type of person you are. When you have attended one, as you and I have, you find the love in these places, in these spaces through our professors, through the people in the cab, through the people, just anybody, administration, because they are there to love on us. It's an experience. I don't know about you, but it's an experience that I didn't get, even though I grew up in a Black family for sure. But having the love that these professors wanted us to, um, that they understood we didn't receive most times, the nourishment, the support, all the things lets me know that you are in that place because we experience it for ourselves, but you turned around and you gave it to the students. So I guess I wanted to say that to go into my question. Going to an HBCU or being the director at an HBCU, what does that actually mean for you and for the young males on your campus?
For me, going to Livingstone was probably the best decision I could have ever done. It took me from a place of darkness, one, um, where I didn't have any intentions of going to school, period. That just wasn't my plight. That wasn't my desire. I just did not want to. And the one thing that made me even apply and go, it wasn't for me. I knew that my mom had inspirations and aspirations of going to school and going and being this businesswoman, which she eventually did, but she
Mhm,
stopped along the way to raise her family.
mhm,
Right. So I found myself, and I'm a mama's boy. So those who know, I love my mama. Um, but I found myself really doing and wanting to go to school for her, not
mhm,
necessarily for me. I wanted to complete one of her dreams or one of her desires because she deserved it. She gave up everything for us, right?
mhm,
So really wasn't interested in going to school for myself. But when I got to Livingstone, God is amazing. So
mhm,
everything that he does for a reason. And everything that we do for a reason. And that wasn't no accident. Going to Livingstone really changed my life for the better. I met some amazing lifetime friends.
mhm,
Um, and when we tell our students, take advantage of your college years, you will meet your lifelong friends. That's not a myth. This is not something that we say. I have some amazing friends. Some people that are watching now because they texted me. Thanks. Shout out to Maceo. Love, love, love.
Yo!
Gotta love my brothers. Gotta love my sisters. I never would have met Lynn, no,
Mhm,
April Lynn, but Lynn.
mhm,
Never
mhm,
would have met you. So it really changed my life. So I take that experience into my career at Winston-Salem State University. I've been at Winston-Salem State University now for since 2007, in
oh,
various capacities. But my mantra has always been true. I've always wanted to give back to those that people gave to me. So those administrators that nurtured us at Livingstone, that were our pseudo parents, Mama
yeah.
Canal, um, Dr. Rutherford, Carolyn
Mhm,
Anderson, Grady Nelson. I mean, the list, it's a long list of
yeah, yeah.
individuals that really poured into us and gave us that tough love
Mhm,
that we needed. We didn't know we needed at the time, but
yeah.
as an adult, I look back on those times and I look back on those nuggets, those golden nuggets that were
Mhm,
dropped into our lives from them. That is what I try to pour into my students. I don't. A lot of times there's imposter syndrome, and I know that for a lot of us in education, whether it's higher education, lawyers, doctors, or whatever, we tend to forget where we came.
yep.
And it becomes this whole thing of what I like to call it catfishing.
Mhm,
What you see on the screen is not actually what
mhm,
you see when in reality, right?
mhm,
So luckily we didn't have all of that. But what I try to pour into my students, especially my young men, vulnerability. You have to be vulnerable, but you have to also know who you are. Because you're no good to anybody if you don't know who you are. You don't even know how to love somebody because you don't even know how to love yourself. Right. And those were some of the nuggets and some of the things that we learned at Livingstone, that I
Mhm.
will always be grateful to LC for, because
Yeah,
if it had not been for them, I would not be the man that I am now and pouring into my babies the way that I do.
I know that's right. And that's why I'm so thankful that you shared that because I knew it started from there. What I do want to ask though, when you said I didn't apply for school for myself, I did it for my mom. That part I didn't know. Oh, but what is very interesting is the fact when I asked you, I was like, "Hey, Ray, come on, be a guest on the show or on the podcast." You're like, "Sure," and I said, "Send me a title." And then when you gave me the title, it was like, "Catfish, do you know who you are, or do you know who you really are?" Which goes back to that. It's like you were doing it for other people, you doing it for your mom, but then you end up having this beautiful experience. So let's go to the topic.
Okay.
Catfishing. Most people, when we think of that, well, I think, let me just talk about myself. When I think about that, I think about Neve, his show, Catfish, and how he started. He met this, he thought he was talking to someone else, and then he ended up meeting this woman that was totally different than who she said she was. And they ended up being friendly. And then he birthed this beautiful show, which like exposes people. Sometimes it turns out to be a healthy thing, but most time it's like a negative thing. When
Yeah.
you gave me this title, it was like Catfish, do you know who you really are? Where were you going with this? Like, what were your thoughts about it?
So, in this climate that we're in right now, this social climate that we're in right now, and working in higher ed and just listening to my students, I'm very analytical. And along with a lot of my other friends, so I have a very small circle, and I have that small circle for a reason. Um, and it'll be clear once I explain the topic. So catfishing. Um, there is something about being somebody that you're not, portraying somebody that you're not. And I think the climate that we're in right now, when we're talking about being authentic, it tends, that word is really something that has really gone away. Authenticity, due to this social media age that we're in, this reality television that we're in is not really reality. We tend to put ourselves into those spaces, and we put up this facade, whether it's on social media or whether it's at work, or whether it's, I feel like I have to get all these degrees to be um, what I feel like everybody wants me to be, or in order for me to be successful. Success
Mm-hmm,
looks like this.
mm-hmm,
Um, and in all reality, once you are in a space, an intimate space with someone, and you see this person for the first time outside of those walls, outside of all the things, um, you find a different person.
yeah.
And you tend to realize that I don't think I like this person. I like this person that I thought that was portraying this thing much more. I want to be around those people that portray this, for everyone else versus being with them now because they're not who they say they were.
Mm-hmm,
That topic is very important, especially for today's youth. And I talk to my young men about it all the time because for men, even your topic, I think we talked about it during homecoming. Your topic, men crying in the car, triggered me because that just simply means I can't cry anywhere else but
mm-hmm,
outside of my car. And that is because I am portraying somebody else. Because I want everybody to see me in this whatever light that you want them to see you in, other than who you really are. And
mm-hmm,
it's okay. You don't have to just cry in your car. Hell, cry in your house. You cry in your office. I tell my young men, we have been branded as young black males to be, you can't cry,
Mm-hmm.
you can't show emotion,
Mm-hmm.
you can't hug another man, you can't tell another man that you love them. All
Right.
these things is branded for this hyper masculinity that we have put on ourselves. Society
Mm-hmm.
did too. We did it to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, all of that is catfishing. You're not vulnerable and you're not authentic. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm on this catfish phase. I tease my students all the time when they're posting all this stuff on social media, and I'm saying,
Right.
who is that?
Mm-hmm.
That's that's not you.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you want your mama and them to think that you are, but that's not. I know you. That's not you.
Mm-hmm.
Be you. Be you. Give them a chance to know who you are, because like later on in life, hell, we're over 50. It
Right.
would be crazy for me to introduce who I really am to my family and my friends at 50. Hell, we got more life behind us than we do ahead of us. You
Yeah.
know, so now you have
Exactly.
to erase 50 years of what you thought
Mm-hmm.
I was and who you thought I was to get to know me now. No,
Right.
authenticity is what it really should be.
Mm-hmm. It's what it should be again, but it's like you said, it's what we've taken on.
Yeah.
The indoctrination and conditioning is real. I talk about it every single time because we were raised in households, and most of us were raised in households where we had roles, and then the girls had to be very caring of their family, and the boys had to be very masculine, and you couldn't cry and all that kind of crazy stuff. And then we become adults, and then you wonder why your husband doesn't do this, your wife doesn't do this, because we weren't in safe. Not all of us,
Right.
but the majority of us that I've spoken to were not in those households where they felt safe with emotion. And so when I meet people, or when I meet men, they're like very guarded until they understand, like, oh, I'm safe with her. And so when you talk about catfishing, I believe that comes with that too, because you have to pretend so much for people to like you. But if they really saw the real you, and they'd be like, hold
Yeah.
on. But the real you is the part that is the inner part that's screaming out, like, I really want people to know that I'm sensitive, and not sensitive like weak, sensitive like I'm very compassionate. I have a big heart. I want people to understand that, versus I got to walk around like nothing bothers me. And that most time that man is on the inside like crying. When
Mm.
I think about men cry in the car, I shared the backstory with you, with my husband and everything, losing his brother. But what I want men to understand is that you're safe with me.
Mhm.
You're safe with me right here. And also for women to open up and make those spaces to be safe. Like your mom um should be in the, people always say stop shitting on yourself. I get that. But your
Mhm.
mom should be a safe space. Your
Mhm.
sister should be a safe space. And aunt, all these people, your grandma should be a safe space. And when we don't have those safe spaces with our young men and then they grow up, then this is what we see. That's what we know to catfish. So my question for you now is that when was the time when you realized, like, I'm really catfishing? Like, I am really pretending to be this person, but on the inside, I really want to show them this. I really want to be this. I really want to have freedom of saying this is who it is. Like, do you remember an age or a time when you finally said this is the turning point?
Wow. Yeah. So it had to have been the year before graduation at Livingstone.
Mm,
Um, I came into Livingstone very guarded. I don't know if you remember the story. I know that Brian and Mike and Maceo and um, Wayne, I
mm-hmm,
remember that for 2 weeks, I knew nobody at Livingstone. I didn't even talk to my roommate. I went to class, I went to eat, and I
mm-hmm,
sat outside on the pavilion on the um, picnic table every day. Didn't say
mm-hmm,
a word to a soul for 2 whole weeks. And the names that I called, Wayne, Brian, Mike, and Maceo.
Mhm.
One day they came out to the picnic table and was like, and I was looking at my yearbook and um, got to know them, but I was still guarded,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So for years, nobody knew the real me. You didn't even know
I know. I
who I
know.
really was, right? Um, and it took me. I don't know if you remember Mitchell Harris or not.
Mhm.
Um, Dr. Harris was my African American history professor, and he had been. And a lot of people don't know this. And this might trigger me for real. I'm prepared. Um,
Yeah.
Mitchell Harris was diagnosed with full blown AIDS while he was teaching us, and we got very, very, very close. And I know that was nothing but the Lord. We just got close. That was my buddy. You know, he was a great mentor,
Mhm.
smartest man I probably could have
Mhm.
ever known. Right, but it took a toll on me because I literally was there with him and some others, George Butler and the crew,
Oh.
literally taking care of him to the day he took his last breath.
Hmm.
I remember saying then that this
Hmm.
man died alone. If it had not been for the people in that circle, of course his mom, but that was it. This man died alone, and I never want to be. Nobody knew Mitchell the way we knew Mitchell because Mitchell was. It was always, Dr. Harris. Nobody really know Mitchell Harris, right? So I think that was the time that it really hit me that, why are we all out here pretending? Like, this, all this other stuff. That's not me. I don't. I have always been the one that I don't care about titles, brands. I don't none of that. It is if I'm gonna like you, I'm gonna like you for you. Period.
Correct.
I can't be a hypocrite and say I like somebody for who they are if I'm not liking who I am.
Mm.
So at that moment, it
Mm.
was like a light bulb for me that regardless of how somebody views me, sees me, feel about me, I have got to be true to Orlando Ray Mitchell. And that's was the moment that I started on my plight. It doesn't matter. Either you're gonna like me or you're not gonna like me. Period. Whether that has anything to do with you agree with what I do, who I hang with, or whatever. Those are my people. That's what I do, and it's just what it is. So I know that was the time that the light bulb went off, and I had to take off the mask because that's what we do too. It's a mask, and so now what you see is what you get. And since that day, what you see is all. I don't know how to do anything else.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna even lie. I had to take myself off because I had to like wipe some tears. Um, and the reason why I allow myself to get emotional because I feel like I don't understand what makes us feel like we have to go through something not traumatic, but something severe, intense, whatever we want to say, in order to be who we really are.
Hmm.
Sharing that story about Dr. Harris, it's like, oh yeah, of course I didn't know. Um, but thank you for sharing that because I know you're not the only man that has says I stopped being fake and phony when this thing happened, when I lost my mind, when I did. It's like, what is it about us that there's most times there has to be something like that for us to say, that's not who I really am. I, you know what? I don't want to perform anymore.
Right.
But I thank you for that because it makes me go back to the video. Remember the video that I made?
Yeah.
And you came back on Facebook. You was like, it's okay not to be okay.
Hmm.
And baby, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. No, missing my sister, I was like, because she's been gone for 13 years. Um, and I was like, I'm cool, I'm cool. Her birthday rolled around, and I was like, oh, I'm not okay.
Hmm.
Okay, let me make this video. I'm not okay. And it also reminded me of like the title that you have being a catfish because I no longer want to pretend that I'm okay
Mhm.
when I'm not.
And you know,
When I
it's important for people to really understand what that means. You know, because right now, for black people, for black men in particular, to not be okay is not okay to society, right? We
right.
have to always be on. We can't have an off day. If
Yep.
we have an off day, we're weak. If we have an
Mhm.
off day, we are poor baby daddy. If we have an off day, every life happens. And
Yep.
when you don't allow somebody to not be okay and feel like it's okay not to be on today,
Yeah.
you will destroy who they really are. Because I can't trust. I can't trust you enough with me
Mhm.
for you not to feel like it's not okay for me not to be okay. I don't want to be on today. You know, I don't want to be the strong one today. Maybe I just want to sit in the car and cry. Maybe I want to sit on the sofa and cry. I mean, you know, I know so many men who are good men, who are good fathers, but the moment they drop something, or the day that they're not that Superman, they become every negative thing that you can think of because of that one thing. You are a bad dad because you lost your job and you know I need this child support. You know, you are a bad brother because you didn't call me. All of the things.
Mhm.
It's okay not to be okay.
It is. And let me tell you something. This is the reason why I was talking to one of the guys that was on the show before, and he's gonna be part of the conference. And I told him, I said, Charles, the reason why a lot of women don't like me is because I say things that um, men want to say, but I say it from my female voice. And he just started laughing because he knew exactly what I meant. And I say
Mhm.
sometimes I just want to tell y'all, shut up,
Just shut up.
stop talking, stop beating these men down, stop doing it. Like shut up. He doesn't want you to fix the situation. He didn't ask you for your advice. Whatever. You know how we are. Um, and shut up. But they don't like that. I'm just like,
Mhm.
that's your husband, that's your son, that's your brother, that's your nephew, whatever. Shut up. Let the man speak. And I don't care if it's a little 6 year old. I don't care if it's 15-year-old. I don't care if it's your husband. Let him speak.
Mhm.
You don't have to run to his aid. You don't have to do all that because that's the thing.
Yeah.
You are trained to be a caretaker. Shut up. And they get offended by that. And I don't care. But you are absolutely correct. The minute one thing happens, oh, you lost your job. Oh, you're sorry. Oh my God, you're so sorry.
Mhm.
Something happened. You break down. Something happened at work because men, I'm telling you, I know you know, but men, that's why I love y'all so much. I love black men so much. First of all, my dad, my children, my husband. But because I love y'all so much, I'm so protective. I don't know if you picked up on that. I don't know if you ever knew that about me, but I'm so protective of black men because y'all get to me get the worst rap ever on this earth.
People don't understand that though.
I do. I do.
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, we're the worst. Black people are the worst. We don't get that. We don't understand that being a black male in America is the worst thing known to man.
Yep.
Nope. We as a black people, we don't get that
Hmm.
because we just don't want to because you're lazy and you're not trying.
Yeah.
It it takes me back to a movie, one of my favorite movies. I'm not a real big Tyler Perry fan, but
Yeah.
it was The Family That Prays.
Hmm. Hmm. Family praise.
When She stood in that
Yep.
restaurant and told that
Yep.
man
Yeah.
that he would never be a Cartwright and that his son is a Cartwright
Hmm.
because he was a weak black man.
Right.
That said everything that it needed to say. Because that
Everything.
is how, unfortunately, that's how the majority of us feel about that. We still have the white is right syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which still goes back to again the catfishing, because if all that we said before and what we're saying right now, if it ain't right, then I have to pretend, I have to perform, I have to show up. So this is the thing, but I'll say it here. All my life I've been performing, literally
Hmm.
and figuratively. I've been in choir, I played the piano, um I ran track, I was always on a stage. Okay, always on a stage, and I knew how to do that well. Okay, and when it was time to be on and seen, I was able to do it.
Me too.
Able
I'm
to do
on.
it.
Suck it up and let's
And
go, baby.
suck it up, let's go. And you better not be nothing else but what I see on that stage.
Hmm.
Because how dare you come up that stage and be yourself?
Right. Suck it up.
Suck it up. And then I'm gonna take it even deeper. And then people don't understand. A lot of us do that because of experiences of anxiety, experiences of depression, all these other things that people will get a diagnosis of. And I don't ever say my anxiety, my depression. No, I have experienced anxiety and I have experienced depression, but that led me to being a catfish,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to see when I'm really sad. You don't want to see when something's really going on. You want me to be happy all the time and everything is good and I got it together and I know how to. You don't want that. You don't want me to show up and say, you know what, last night I just didn't want to be here no more.
Yeah.
And I really contemplating of leaving. I contemplate. You don't want that. You want the perfect person. And that's
Yeah.
what's happening with men.
Yeah, but I
That's
mean,
what's happening with men.
you have to be honest and you have to be vulnerable to tell that story. I mean, I know there
Correct.
was several times, even before I got to Livingstone, just growing up in my household. A lot of people, a lot of people say, growing up in a single parent home is so bad. Is this is whatever, but I didn't grow up in a single parent home. My father was in the home, but my father wasn't really in the home. And I think that is worst. That's worse trauma to a child when you have both of your parents in the home, but one of your parents is the only one that's been a parent. And I talk about this a lot. My dad and I are really cool now. We are so that's my pops, that's my homeboy, that's my dude now. But growing up, not so much, and having to grow up in a home where you did not you could not be affectionate because my dad was not affectionate. That just wasn't what it was. But you know, as you get older, you understand hurt people, right? He was only doing the best that he knew how because that's how he was reared. So, there was no emotion. My grandfather was not a hugger. He was not to want to tell nobody, even to the grandchildren, that he loved them, or
Mhm,
none of that
mhm.
stuff was ever going to happen in that house. So, of course, my father not getting that wouldn't know what that meant, right? So it
That's right.
was times when in high school where you questioning your sexuality.
Mhm,
You coming home and the only person that got your back is your mama. But you really need
mhm,
your dad to sit down but that wasn't there. So yeah, that whole contemplating suicide, I know I contemplated it several times in high school. So I know by the time I got to Livingstone, I was broken. I was
mhm,
broken in pieces. So I know that I was
mhm,
catfishing. I catfished from August the 16th, 1992 up until that time because
yeah.
nobody wanted to see who I really was. When I
Mhm,
say broken, I was broken. I think if I hadn't gone to Livingstone, I wouldn't be here. I know for a fact I wouldn't be because I wouldn't know what to do outside of graduating from high school. I just wouldn't.
mhm,
So it did change my
mhm,
life. Again, Everything happens for a reason, but catfishing is real. Catfishing, there are
Yeah.
several. I find myself sometimes, even now, catching myself at work trying to catfish because I got to be on. Until the time you just have to say, damn it, nope, not today.
Mm-hmm.
Not today. You going to get what you going to get. Now,
Mm-hmm.
off that line, you're going to get cussed out. I might get rolled up. I might get fired. It is what it is. But I
Mm-hmm.
can't catfish. What you get is what you're going to get from now
Yeah. Yeah. I think about when you brought up career and being at work. That was the probably the biggest time I found myself like being not genuine
on. Hmm.
because of who I am. Even though growing up in the household I grew up in, my dad had a very slick mouth. He knew, and he knew how to cuss. He knew how to like just run you down with his words, and I got that. Like that's just what I did. But because I knew that and I was aware that was in me, definitely part of my DNA. I
Yeah.
had to show up being fake and phony, and just like I can't be this person. I can't really be myself. But what I find the most disturbing though is like the things of what you just said. You said I was broken. I came into because no one wanted to hear it, and I hear myself say it too because I've said it before. But to me, it's the most disturbing when it comes to a man because I want y'all to know that you are loved.
Hmm.
You are, and most times you weren't shown that. And for
Right.
you to think, right? For you to think, um, and I think I'm getting emotional because I love you so much. But for you to think, okay, let me keep the tears down. For you to think that you had to pretend because in your mind you were broken and nobody wanted to deal with that. That's the part that's disturbing because we don't allow ourselves to have opportunities or experiences because we think we are burdened to another person. Just think about the type of love, the type of support on top of your friendships, like with Maceo and Wayne and Mike and all them. Um, if you had allowed that, how much more support you would have gotten
Hmm.
versus I'm afraid, I don't know if you're going to take me feeling like this, then you're going to abuse me or you're going to use it against me and
Hmm.
all those things. And that's the part that is so hurtful when I hear young black boys, teenagers, and men because they don't feel safe.
Right.
And that is the reason why this assignment was put on my life because I know, and I'm not just saying it's me, I know this is the gift that God gave me in order to help men feel safe. I know that.
Hmm.
That part I know.
A lot, and I think platforms like this, and you almost got me.
Uh-huh.
Plat- Platforms like
You almost got me.
yeah,
You're
I
silly.
got it in my hand. But listen, so I look at in just a vulnerable moment for me. Um, I I know, not that I think, I know that that is why I
Hmm.
am very careful with who I let into my circle. Right? Um, those people that I name, um, I don't have a lot of friends. I have a lot of acquaintances that I love. I do. I love my acquaintances, but
Hmm.
my friends, and I think
Hmm.
the the topic of catfishing and do you know who you really are and being vulnerable and just taking the mask off and just being who you are authentically
Hmm.
is so heavy on me because when when you get to this age and you don't have a lot of people that is here, this is the age when people start leaving, right? And I know that when Wayne passed, that I'm still not over that. It made me realize
Hmm.
that because I have a small circle,
Hmm.
it's not forever. no matter how we thought it would be at 18, 19 years old, it's not forever. I have my well, not gonna call him my god brother because we've known each other since we were 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sean, outside of Sean and the names that I called, and then the other inner circle, that is
Mm-hmm.
really it. Like
Mm-hmm.
we are all walking into 52,
Mm-hmm.
right? We look good,
Mm-hmm.
um, but we just don't know when it's going to be our time. And when you have a small circle like I do, that I
Yeah.
think that's the one thing that keeps me up at night. That make me emotional because nobody wants to be alone. And when
Right.
those individuals start leaving, yeah, you have your parents, and I know
Yep.
I'd be a wreck when my parents go, and my two brothers go. But outside of that, that's all that I have,
Mm-hmm.
and I cannot afford not to be who I am
Mm-hmm.
a day longer and miss out on them knowing who I really am. Right? Um, so yeah, catfishing is catfishing, and it's real.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's real.
Yeah. And it's not even catfishing, as like a lot of people say, like, how a lot of people think when I mention the show of like, oh, I thought I was dating him, I'm dating that. It's part of that. And then it's also the other part of just not being open and honest about how you
Mm-hmm.
feel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, being open and honest about what you think, swallowing and suppressing emotions and feelings and thoughts and all that because you want to protect the other person. I don't want them angry. Like all of that to me is a part of catfishing. Anytime you wake up and you are not 100% yourself, somewhere in there you catfish for the day.
Oh yeah. I mean,
You know,
that happens in marriages. You have people that are married and been married
true.
for a long time, and you really don't like your wife or your husband, but you have
I don't
wasted all this
understand.
time because you have that. That is exhausting. That is exhausting because neither one of you are being authentically who you really are. You're liking somebody that has been catfishing all this time. And when you really get to know these people, are you really going to like them? You may, you may, but friendships, marriages, it's catfishing all day long, and that is exhausting. Trying to be somebody that you're not to appease the other person, but you're miserable because you're not authentically being yourself. And the only time you can be yourself is when you're in your car crying.
Right. Instead of being feeling secure and safe in other spaces. So I know we mentioned school and I know we mentioned our people and I want to say this before we move on to the healing part. Um do you find yourself with the people that you have lost in your life, from the people at our school, to other people in your life? Do you find yourself being more of a catfish in those areas or being more authentic and genuine in your feelings?
Now, presently, I find myself being more authentic. I mean, because what you get is what you get. I'm tired. I can't. I'm not always going to be the joy and the crowd pleaser and the funny guy.
Hmm.
Um, when I don't feel like being funny. So I think what you get now is you get the authentic me.
Hmm.
I can be happy, I can be joyful, but if I'm upset, I'm upset. And because we all are who we are to each other, I know that you're going to understand, and I know that I'm comfortable and I'm safe in these spaces because hell, we've been in this thing forever. So it is what it is.
Yeah. And I love that. And so that's why I'm glad we turned it a little bit. So just tell us like some of the things that you have used, utilized, working on that allows you to continue to no longer be a catfish. Like if it's therapy, if it's prayer, if it's certain people, like what are some of the things that you're finding yourself like, first of all, to get out of the car, because we don't want y'all to stay in the car. We want y'all to get out.
Right.
So
You
what are
have to
some
go.
of the things that are helpful?
some things that I help. I know that help me. Therapy is always, always therapy, 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 therapy. There's a therapist out there anywhere you are. There's a therapist. So therapy is very important because a lot of us, especially black men, we have gone through some traumatic things and nobody really knows but us and God. And sometimes carrying that is heavy. So always get some therapy. Always get some therapy. Keep negativity out of your life. What does that mean? If you know you have people that are negative in your life, in your circle, constantly is complaining, is negative and negative about everything, get them people out of your life. Those spirits transfer. And if you are a person where you try not to be catfished or you're not trying not to be a catfish, remove those people. Um, find some people that are like you. There are people out there that want to be vulnerable. There are people out there in your life that you know you feel safe with. Get with those safe people. And it's again, it's okay not to be okay, but a therapist
Mhm.
and get rid of negative people and negative situations. Stress will
Mm.
kill you. So if you ever in a situation where, and I tell my young men this on campus, you know, at Winston there are 17 women to one man. If
Mm.
you if you're being stressed by one, there are 16 others, and you can go up the street. There are other institutions to where you can
Mhm.
find somebody that's not. If they're stressing you, they're not for you. If they're negative and you feel some kind of way, they're not for you. It's the same thing with family and friends. Sometimes you have to cut your negative family off,
Mhm.
and it's okay. It's okay to cut them off. You don't have to. I'm not saying disown them, but
Mhm.
if you know that these are negative situations and you know these are triggers, just cut them off. You can be cordial. Hi, how are you? You don't have to be nasty, but cut them off.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. And then also you being here saying and advocating for therapy. So many people think I don't want to go to therapy. Well,
Right?
it's okay
It's okay.
because it's one of those things where you haven't been able to do it by yourself, and you haven't been able to pray it away. Now, let me say this. People
Hmm.
always say, "Well, I thought you was a Christian." I am. I really
Hmm.
call myself a servant of the Lord because I'm a little bit of unorthodox. I'm one of I'm like I just love Jesus in a different way. It's not regimented. It's not a tradition. It's not a religion for me. Like my relationship is real, and so when I talk to Jesus, I be like, Jesus, Jesus." So I talk to him like that. So I'm not going to show up like most people. What I'm saying is I am going to have prayer and I'm going to have therapy. Like why they don't go together? It's like salt and pepper. It's on the
Hmm.
table together. Like grab it and
Listen,
use both. So
listen.
I'm so glad.
You
Go
gotta you
ahead.
gotta listen to your gut. You gotta listen to your gut. And the whole church thing and spirituality and all of that. I'm a very spiritual person, extremely spiritual. I love Jesus. I do, and I know him for myself. So you have to be very careful as well
Mhm.
when you go into those spaces and you go into those spaces vulnerable, because when you are vulnerable, you tend to take on things that you really should not. And you're depending on somebody else to give it to you. Not speaking against it, I'm just saying I have been groomed by several pastors, but I was smart enough and trusted my gut
Yep.
to get away from those people
Mhm.
and learn it for myself. So, yes,
Mhm.
therapy and a good spiritual life. Burn you some sage and read the same scriptures that man gonna read up in the pulpit. It's okay. I'm gonna leave that alone because I might
Exactly.
be.
No, you ain't got to leave it alone. But I will say this. That's what's wrong with a lot of people. There's so many ways of healing,
Mm, mm,
and let me say it again. There's so many ways of healing, and Jesus ain't the only way of healing. Ooh, I said it. This is what I'm talking about. If Okay. I want to break it down for those in the back.
Hmm.
What is wrong with having everything at in reach? Okay. If you are in need of a surgeon, go to a surgeon. If you are in need of a dentist, go to a dentist. If you are in need of a therapist, go to a therapist. If you need Reiki healing, get some Reiki healing. If you do yoga, do it. Like, but we don't all heal the same. Okay, there's things out there. Okay, no one is talking about whatever. There's ways. It's not just the way of what other people think. No, you're only supposed to pray it away. Well, what if I've been praying for the last 15 years and prayer hasn't worked? But the minute someone told me, do you know if you clear your energy or if you do this, if you start eating like this, that's going to help? And I do that and I find that that's the way to heal my body.
Now
Like people get on my nerves with that. I'm telling you,
I'm gonna say this, and I know this is not a popular thing to say, and I still love the Lord, but
and still do.
when you dig into, I need for people to be well versed and read, right? Christianity came into our lives at the end of slavery, and I'm gonna leave that right there. So take that for however you want to take it, but interpretations mean a lot. The same way that the Bible was interpreted and written, the same way somebody can read it to you, interpret the way that they think that you should hear it, because it was interpreted for us to be enslaved, and that was not the interpretation that the Lord wanted for us. We'll leave that right there. But just remember, know it for yourself. Know it for yourself and know Him for yourself, and don't allow somebody to tell you about Him.
I mean, that's a mic drop right there. Okay. So, see, they didn't know they was going to come and get a word on top of a word. Yes. Okay. So, to end this, right, I definitely want to thank you. I thank you so much for being here. I also want you to just give a word, and I know you have given multiple encouraging words, but give a word to that young man, that teenager, that spouse, that whatever, whoever he is, give a word to him that's going to come across this replay, the live, somebody going to share it out. Speak to him right now.
So understand this: we are all placed on this earth for a reason and a season. It's okay to be who you are, and you know who you are, and it's okay. Because if the more authentic you are, the more you're going to reach the people that you're supposed to reach within your life before that lifeline runs out. You cannot reach or accomplish what your goal was when breath got into your body by being someone else. The only way you're going to reach the people, places, and things is by being authentically you. And it's okay to be whoever you are in whatever space that the Lord puts you in, because nothing just doesn't happen. Everything happens for a reason. You are where you are because you're supposed to be. You are who you are because you are supposed to be. And you will go to the places where you're supposed to go because that is where you're supposed to be. There is somebody there that you're supposed to connect with. And if you're not yourself, you're going to miss them.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really love the fact that you said yes and we got it to happen. We made it happen. Thank you so much. I love you for real. You know I love you for real.
I love you.
And
You and
and
everything.
also I'm gonna announce it. I mean people know, but I'm gonna announce it here. Men Cry in the Car, you guys. The podcast is going live. We're doing a live event here in Texas, and also we'll be doing some things virtually. We will be sharing it with our HBCUs, our alma mater, and Winston-Salem, and the other places and spaces where young Black males can be a part virtually, because I know a lot of them may not travel to Texas, but we definitely want y'all to have an experience as well. But Ray, thank you so much. I
Ab-
appreciate you. I know you could have been doing something else, but thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Supposed to be here. I
thank
was
you.
supposed to be
Yes, you are. It took time, but you made it. You were right on time. But do not leave, because I want to end the show, but I want to talk to you, okay?
here. Okay.
Okay. Everyone, hey, my hair's been looking crazy the whole time. Okay, anyway, I'm still cute. Um, I just want you to know, thank you so much for those that came. Thank you for those that are going to share it out. And always remember, men, I see you, I hear you, and I support you. Bye for now.